Good evening, everyone. Alita, I'd just like to do a quick sound check with you if you're available.
Yes, Chef Emilie, I'm available. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Excellent.
Great.
Okay. I don't know if you can all see me. I've turned into a ghost. So can you see me? Just kidding. No, Halloween jokes. All right. Just for me then. Let's see. And Alita, if you want to start the chat, it looks like someone's already in there. Maybe you already did.
Yeah,
you
I'm
are
sorry.
most excellent.
No, I'm starting now.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so let's jump right in. There's the story here. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Teaching Kitchen here at New York-Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital. My name is Emilie, chef and coordinator of our space here. And we have the wonderful Alita volunteering with us this evening for our Healthy Halloween treats cooking class. Really glad you're all here because I don't know about you, but it's almost spooky how quickly Halloween snuck up on us this year. I can't believe it's already the end of October, but here we are, and you might have children or grandchildren or just want to treat yourself to something spooky and sweet and fun, but don't necessarily want to throw your whole health into the balance of it. So that's why we're here today, to show you some kind of some nice recipes that are easy to put together, fun, festive, and all of the rest. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who are coming back for more, thank you and welcome back. And if you have any questions, our Zoom etiquette here is just pop them in the chat box and Alita will read them to me. I'll check in with her throughout the program just to see if there's anything I need to slow down or do differently or et cetera. So our program for today is going to include 3 different recipes. The first is our pumpkin spice ghost muffins. I included a picture of what these are supposed to look like in your packet. If you didn't get the packet for whatever reason, I will be sending them after the class along with a feedback survey, either this evening or tomorrow morning. So you'll make sure you have all of that. And they're really cute. They're little, I don't know if you can see, they're little like, that's what they're supposed to look like, little ghost faces. And then the other recipe we're making is our no-bake chocolate pumpkin pie. And we're going to be using, this is what that's supposed to look like. I just pulled these pictures from the internet to kind of give you an idea of what you're working towards. So that's a nice one because it's a no-bake recipe. You just make it and put it in the refrigerator and solidify it and it's done. You know, there's no eggs in it. There's nothing in there that you would have to worry about, except maybe the excessive amounts of chocolate and cream cheese, but it's not that excessive. It's actually quite reasonable for a pumpkin pie, which usually has so much sugar in it. At least here we're using a little maple syrup and we're using 1 cup of chocolate chips. So you're getting that dark chocolate in there too. I'm using a semi-sweet, or you can even use darker, 60% or more if you like. And then our third recipe is the chocolate spiders and webs. This one's a really fun one if you've got, you know, some little ones around that actually want to put stuff together. It's a nice one to do because they can participate in this one. So that's going to be our program today. Any questions before we begin on this spooky adventure?
No questions, but he says that they're all cute.
Yay! Okay, well, let's hope
The
I can
muffins
make
are
them
really
look
cute.
that cute. Yeah, let's see how we do. So I like this muffin recipe because it's got pumpkin in it. So the pumpkin we're using today is this really nice organic pumpkin puree. Your pumpkin puree should only have one ingredient. This just says organic pumpkin puree. If your pumpkin puree says things like sugar and cinnamon and everything else, that means you're buying pumpkin pie filling, not to be confused with the puree, which is basically, doesn't have a lot of flavor, it just tastes like pumpkin. We're sweetening these muffins with dates, and everything goes into the blender. So it's super easy and super fun. So the dates have been softened in a little bit of warm water. And as I put them in the blender, I like to just kind of squish each one just to make sure there's no little date pits that like to hide out. And even though these are technically pitted dates, I've definitely had a fight with my blender trying to get the date pit off of the blade. It gets stuck sometimes. You could do this in a food processor as well. Either one is fine. And if you don't have either of those, you could substitute the dates for date paste, which you can buy in some places. And that way you can just use the date paste and everything else can just kind of get mixed in, and that's fine too. So we're going to add 2 eggs. So here they go, 1 and 2. The pumpkin puree for this recipe, I think we're using 1 cup. Yep. I measured everything out, so now I can remember how much it is. 1 cup of the pumpkin puree. So that's this one. It looks like baby food. It looks a lot like, yeah, pumpkin puree. Simple. Pumpkins have lots of nutrients in them, vitamin A, C, E, as well as folates. They're very low in calories, which is nice, and high in antioxidants. A little bit of vanilla extract. That's the end of that. And then we're going to start by blending this all together to get it nice and smooth. Any questions so far?
Yes, there's a couple of questions. Can you use figs or raisins for this recipe?
I haven't tried. I think the raisins might work nicely. The point of the dates is they're very sweet. So either one, I actually think my closest thing to dates is Turkish dried apricots, the brown one. Oh, this would be nice. But yeah, I suppose you could play around with some different fruits. So you see, this is nice and smooth. Anything else?
Yeah, there was a question about next month's schedule. Is it released yet, or?
Yes, it's not released. I mean, no, it is not released yet. It's in progress. It's sitting at someone's desk down in the hospital, and they will get to it. We do have some great classes coming up next week, and I hope you'll all sign up for them because they're going to be really fun. We're going to be talking, very important. We're going to be talking about stroke prevention for one of them. We're going to be making some savory tarts on November 3rd and November 4th. I can't remember, but I can send people the links to register for those 3 classes tomorrow or even this evening with the feedback survey. So if that's helpful, I can do that. I'm going to add the rolled oats. So about 2 cups of rolled oats. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. So this is just to add in a little protein with all this. We're adding some cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice mix, and salt. And with your pumpkin pie spice mixes, just make sure that you're getting ones that have no sugar in them. And then this is a teaspoon of baking soda. So those are the dry ingredients, and in they go. And you'll notice I saved the water that I soaked the dates in case I feel like this is a little too thick. I can always add that in. So off it goes. It's going to take a moment. I'm starting it on low. It's going to take a moment to kind of blend all that together. You might need to, I have one of those tamper things actually. I never use it, but this would be a good time to push it down. There, and kind of help it along. And then it's like, why are you giving me all of this stuff? There we are. All right, so okay. Beautiful. Okay. So now this is sort of blended together into this. You know, I like to leave a little bit of the oats in there. Some people like to get it really, get their muffins very smooth, so it's a bit more like a cupcake, which would be fine too. But now I'm gonna make sure this is all mixed together and put it into my muffin tin and bake it off. Questions or comments? Pretty straightforward recipe, right?
Yes. So there's a question about how often do you replace your baking soda?
Oh my gosh, not often enough. That's a great question. I know they leave like a little space on the box for you to write when you open it. But I try to do it at least once a year, I think the ideal though is like 6 months, right, Alita? Is it something like that?
Yeah, it's about 6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a question also about the oats. Do they have to be quick oats or any type is okay? The recipe says rolled oats.
Yeah, as long as they're rolled and not the steel cut variety, because the steel cut variety might be very difficult to process.
And then is there a substitute for the hemp seeds?
I mean, I'm just adding them in there for a little extra nutritive value, like just to have a little bit of protein in there. You could probably, nothing's really as high in protein when it comes to nuts and seeds as the hemp seeds. You could put like 2 tablespoons of a protein powder or something. That might be good. Or just leave them out. If you don't have them, you can just leave them out. That would be fine.
There's a question about, well, Deborah would like some soup recipes that you like because she loves your classes.
Thanks, Deborah. I think I'm going to be doing another soups class maybe in December. I think we're starting to plan that out already. But yeah, stay tuned, definitely. Thank you. And I know, it's coming up. We'll be here before we know it. All right.
And then
so this
Teresa
made 9.
All right, and Teresa had a question that she says she doesn't see the questions that I'm, I guess, reading out loud. But, if people send it to everyone in the chat, then everybody gets to see the questions. Sometimes people will only send it to the host and the panelists. And release the host and I'm the panelist. So we see the questions.
Thank you for clarifying that.
If you want everybody to see your question, we're going to... you can put it.
You have to change the setting on the bottom, right?
To everyone.
Yeah. Great reminder. Thank you. So I'm just giving this blender a little rinse over here. You can't see me because we're going to use it for our next recipe. So it's also just as easy. Everything goes into the blender. And here's a cup of the chocolate chips. I find that the mini chocolate chips melt really well. So for this recipe, we want to melt them. I'm going to put them in for about 50 seconds. And you just want to make sure that they're, completely melted. Sometimes with, the bigger chocolate chips, you may have to stop after about 30 seconds and stir them. But yeah, with the small ones, I find that they just blend really well. All right, we're ready for the next. See how easy was that first one, right? I also can't believe, Alita, I know you weren't with us when we did our class with Dr. Mears this week, but we've made muffins twice. As I was reviewing our information for this week, I was like, gosh, when I was designing this week, I thought that the classes would be spaced apart by a weekend at least. But if you've been making our recipes along with us, you're gonna have a lot of muffins this week. Because we also did a sweet potato muffin, which was really yummy. Okay, so on to our next recipe. So for this one, it's pretty easy. You get one of these prepared graham cracker crusts. They sell these like low-fat ones. This needs a little more time if you wanted to go that route. Just remember, whichever one you choose, remember to take the plastic out. You don't want to pour your filling in only to realize that it has a plastic layer underneath it. So put that in your recycling. And then you're ready to start the next recipe. So again, similarly, this one's pretty easy. Everything goes into the blender. So this calls for, I think this, am I doing this correctly? I'm having a moment. 1.5 cups of pumpkin puree. So 1.5 cups. So if this is 15 ounces and there's 8 ounces in a cup, we know that means that's going to bring us to, help me out, everyone, that's 8 ounces in a cup. So it's going to be a little less than a full can, a little less than a full can, but almost a full can, right? You should end up with about a quarter cup left at the bottom. And then you make soup with that, Denise. Make soup with your extra pumpkin pie puree. All right, let's get here it is. Okay, that looks nice. So it's nice and glossy. You can use a little spatula. You can see how it's starting to melt down. And sometimes you just have to, work it around the bowl a little bit. Now, keep in mind, whenever you're melting chocolate, you don't want to mix it so much that it incorporates air and cools it down, but you do want to mix it enough that the residual heat of the bowl will help to kind of get it to where it needs to be, right? Okay, so we're ready to put that in. We've got 1/3 cup of maple syrup, our vanilla extract, and I have a little pinch of salt that I dissolved in here, not because I had to, but because I only had one small prep bowl, so they went in together. 1 to 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder, just to give it that extra dark kind of quality. And then we're gonna add in the cream cheese. So this is a low-fat cream cheese, 4 ounces, and it's going in. This is like a pumpkin cheesecakey kind of like texture. It's yummy. Any other questions as I add the chocolate?
Not at this point. Thank you.
Okay. So chocolate's going in and you're done. It all just gets blended together. So this is actually also, these are all pretty, kid and family friendly too. So does anyone have anything that they're planning to make or want to, try out this Halloween? If you want to share that in the chat with all of us so we can be inspired by your activity, that would be really fun. If anyone has anything that they're thinking about doing or something that they're excited about sharing, whether you decorated your yard in a different way or anything. So here's our mixture. Let's blend it up. And this one's so nice because as you can see, it comes together really quickly. It's like velvety, chocolatey smooth. And it's got a vegetable in it. I mean, how many pies can you say that aren't like savory pies have vegetables in them? So I feel pretty good about that. It's a step in the right direction. All right, Alita, how is everyone? Everyone's enjoying the chocolate drizzling and the...
Yeah, so it says here, Naomi says, I have stevia sweetened chocolate chips with 0 sugar.
Amazing. You could totally use those if you like the taste of them. I know some people are not stevia fans. It's too bitter for them, but you could absolutely use those if they melt well. I've never melted those up before, but go for it, Naomi. That sounds really nice.
And
okay.
That's it, yeah.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that, I don't know if you can really see the texture of this. It's like, almost like a moussey. It's beautiful, right? All right, so this will go to get that. You can see it's like pretty like a, mousse texture. I'm trying to give you the jiggle on it. And then we'll put this in the refrigerator to let it cool down. So, any questions?
Oh yeah, Patricia says she has not had any luck in melting white chocolate chips. Are some brands better than others?
Great question. We're gonna melt some chocolate right now. So, Patricia, I agree with you actually. White chocolate chips I find don't always melt that well. So I found instead this Ghirardelli white chocolate, and I'm breaking this up and I'm gonna use this. But you can use chocolate chips if you find good ones. But I agree, sometimes they get like a little bit of a grainy texture, which is interesting, but not always what we're going for. So you can I would opt for just breaking up some nice white chocolate if you can find, get your hands on that instead. Yeah, that's my solution. I should probably edit the recipe to say as much, but yeah, thank you for sharing that.
And Eileen says that she's gonna make this recipe for for dessert for her grandkids tomorrow.
Oh, fun. Awesome. Well, I'm curious to know what they think. All right, so let's get started on our next recipe, which is the little spiders and fun Halloween creatures while everything's kind of baking and getting ready. So this one's pretty straightforward too. I'm going to start off by melting that white chocolate. And you just, use your oven, your microwave safe bowl, make sure all of that is in order. It's good to, let's see, I have a little parchment paper to work on here, right? Create a little workspace for yourself. And then you're going to be using pretzel sticks for this one. So you can actually find, if you've got kids that are gluten-free, can't have gluten, so many now, you can find gluten-free pretzel sticks too. So this is like a nice way that everybody can participate in Halloween. I'm using peanut butter for this because peanut butter and chocolate are amazing together. But if you have a peanut allergy or someone that's going to be enjoying these, use the sunflower seed butter, and that works just as well. So either one is fine. So I'm going to start by breaking these up into smaller pieces. See if I'm just kind of breaking them in half to get little legs. And actually, I wanted to show you all a trick that I thought of. Okay, you can use dates to make the body of the bug. So we're going to start with, let's see, this needs a little more time. We're going to start with making the little spider creatures. So you just want to get some nice pretzel legs. They don't all have to be the same length, that's fine too. And then you kind of make like an asterisk with them. So I don't know if you can see here, I've made like a little asterisk kind of star shape. And then you can either just, do like drizzle on that, or you can put a date in the middle and create like a little, let's see, this spider has one too many legs. Sorry. I was counting, I was like, this spider has a tail. So that's going to be your basic shape for the bug. You could either do it like that, or you can do like what I just call like pretzel clusters. So you can just kind of break a few up and pile them together and just like drizzle chocolate over it just like that. So that's a couple of options, right, for the actual bug itself. Let's see, you can put a few in the middle. This is like one of those things that really requires a bit of a steady hand, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like an edible spider. How perfect do you have to get? Okay, there we go. So this is the white chocolate, and I really like the white chocolate on the webs. I've used all my spatulas already. Can't believe it. Okay, this is what happens when you do chocolatey baking things. So if you're going to do the web, it's a little bit of a different formation. You grab, this has to be bigger, right? So you grab the full pretzel stick, and then you make a bigger asterisk, right? So big, think like 7 or 8. Let's see how many I end up using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there, I think that was 8 or so. And then you have your spatula ready. So we're going to start with the melted white chocolate. And you want to keep moving it around until it gets to be that kind of drizzly consistency. Be patient with it. Okay, but again, don't overmix that it cools down. Just mix enough that it gets drizzly. Okay, so at this point, you kind of work in a spiral to put down. You can also put this in a squeeze bottle. That would be really smart. Or you could use a spoon, maybe a little bit easier, or a fork, whatever, anything to kind of get a good, there we go, a little more control with this. Right, and just kind of make your way around. It works a little bit better, I think, with the dark chocolate. The white chocolate looks cool too. So kind of make your way around a few times with that spiral kind of effect. So you can do a few, like 1 or 2 little, you can also get like a toothpick. These are helpful if you want to help to kind of pull it out a little bit. I really like the way this looks with the toothpick. You kind of get these starry shapes. Okay, and then I like to put, you know, a little bit of something in the middle to connect it all together. So you can use the white chocolate for that because you need the pretzel sticks to stick. Okay, so that's kind of one fun thing you could do. The other is mixing the chocolate and the peanut butter together. We're gonna melt this next. So I don't know why I put a spoon in here. Oh, I guess I had to scoop out the peanut butter. So I like this idea a lot because with your dose of sugar, you're getting a dose of protein and fats. And that's gonna help your body to slow down the digestion of the sugar. Makes sense, right? So it's not only what you eat, not just what kind of sugar you're having, but how you have it and what you have in combination with, that's also important, right? Because sugar is not just sugar. It has a lot of metabolized differently depending on what it's eaten with. So fiber, fats, and protein help to slow down your blood sugar spikes that might occur from having too much sugar, which is definitely a risk around Halloween. All right, we're gonna mix those together. Let's check on our little pumpkin pie in here. So same thing here with the pumpkin pie, it's starting to solidify. You could, and I think I included, you melt the chocolate and then you wanna do like these, it's really gonna be a lot easier if I put this in a piping bag, but that's okay. We're just gonna go for it because not everybody has a piping bag. But the piping bag's really useful for the ghost, which is one of the things that we'll do next. So with your white chocolate on the pie here, this is really not my strength or forte, but it is fun, right? So we're just gonna have fun with it. So you go make like a little circle, right, with your toothpick and draw little spidery webs as you go, dropping it. So I'm starting with one concentric circle in the middle, and then from that, I'm gonna do little lines going in. So I'm basically doing like, you know, like a sun print. Maybe I feel like most people can draw a sun pretty well, right? That's within range for a lot of kids. This technique is working quite nicely. So I'm kind of rolling the chocolate and going outwards, rolling the chocolate and going outwards. It looks pretty. I surprise myself sometimes. So white chocolate has little to no nutritive benefits, unfortunately. It is mostly sugar, which is why we're not using that much of it. And we're mostly focusing on the dark and semi-sweet stuff. All right, so now I made a little sun. Oh gosh, you can't really see that, can you? Right, so that was step 1. Then step 2 is going to be to go around and make a circle around that. So you can really get creative with this. You know, you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. Make your own spider web, have fun with it. Just allow yourself to be led by the chocolate. Let the chocolate guide you. So I'm kind of dipping this in and dragging it all the way around. It looks fun. Cool. Right? So there you go. Kind of cool, right? You can, of course, use the point of the toothpick to kind of use get like a little more of like a wispy effect. That's kind of nice for a spider web, not get such like harsh lines. Anyway, and then you can use your little spiders that you made, or you can get some of these little like, you know, toy spiders and play around with that. So I'll put this back in the fridge and let's finish up our little bugs. Our muffins must be done soon. See, they smell good. Good. Oh yeah, so these are nice and firm. So I'm pushing down and they're not popping back up. So these are done. See how they just don't totally sink, right? And I'm gonna put them in the refrigerator in the hopes that we'll be able to make a little ghost on top of each one. Let's pop them on a cooling rack first. That'll help them cool down. Questions or comments? I know we're doing a lot of little fun projects today.
Yeah, Patricia and Barbara both wrote about using baggies and you snip the corner to use as a piping bag.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Thank you for remembering that. That's true. So if you don't have piping bags, you can always use that great kitchen trick. So using the little Ziploc bag and then cutting the corner. That's a great idea. Thanks, thanks Barbara, for reminding me of that one.
The question was also, is that going to work, the piping bag with the melted chocolate?
Yeah, I think that will work quite well. You know, I just did freehand and it works fine, but the piping bags of any kind are just going to give you a little more control. All right, so these are our muffins. So my sell here to kids is that these are cupcakes. They look like cupcakes, smell like cupcakes, right? So what's the difference? So, you know, that's the way I kind of like to trick them into eating things that feel a little bit healthier, right? Okay, so where were we? Chocolate's in the microwave with the peanut butter. Oh, that smells good. Okay, and then same thing here. You're just gonna stir them both together to get a chocolate peanut butter mixture. This drizzles really, really much more easily, I think, than the white chocolate. All right. So we're on our way to making our little bugs, our little bug friends, spiders and bugs, creepy crawlies. So at this point, I like to take the chocolate, pour it right over the date in the middle, and around some of the little, you can now adjust the legs a little more easily, but it's really, that's it. You can do a little dollop in the middle to kind of bind everything together, and you're done. So this will go into the fridge or freezer. You can see how cute they are, right? I like the date one the best, I think. Kind of fun. And then when you take them out, they look something like this. So I made a few ahead of time, and it's cool. You can see like this is the spider web, right? That's really fun. And it's like, if you are, you know, a kid, this is so much better than a like Snickers bar, right? You've got these little legs and a date in the middle, right? With the peanut butter and the chocolate. This one's a little bit of a free form pretzel cluster. And I don't know what this one is. I guess we should all vote. It looks a bit like an 8-legged turtle to me somehow, but those are our little critter friends. So any questions on all of that? Anyone think they're gonna try, which recipes do you think you're gonna try out? Does anyone want to share what recipes they think they might try? I'm very curious. Anyone's gonna get their you know, kitchen artistic eye going here. Okay. So as that stuff's coming in, as folks are going to share, we have one more recipe, which is the coconut whipped cream, which is for the little ghost muffins. So the muffins have to be completely cool before you can even frost them in any way. I included the recipe for the coconut whipped cream because a lot of kids now can't have dairy either. So this way, it's a nice way to have a muffin that's completely dairy-free. And they actually now sell coconut whip in a can or Cool Whip. So any kind of that's, I think, made with coconut also. So for kids that can't have dairy, that's a really good option as well. But there are instructions in here for how to make your own if you wanted to get creative with that. I've noticed that, well, the most important thing is the coconut needs to be in the refrigerator. The coconut milk is the canned variety. I think full fat coconut milk, right, is 1 can. And it needs to be chilled in the refrigerator overnight. That's the most important thing because that's going to separate the cream from the liquid. Once they're separate, you just scoop out the top layer, the cream that rises to the top. That's what you're going to make your whip with. You're not going to make it with any of the liquid at the bottom. Otherwise, it will never turn into a whip. What else? A good tip is also to chill the bowl, same as whenever you're making whipped cream as well, leaving out the liquid. And I like to sweeten this with just a little bit of honey and nothing else. So let's see. I made some ahead of time. See how it did. So this is sort of the texture of what it looks like, right? You can see it's got like a little whip texture to it. The one thing that I noticed as in all my years of making coconut whip is the ones that are sweetened, that are not sweetened, sorry, the ones that are stabilized and thickened with guar gum don't seem to whip as well as the ones that don't have anything added to them other than, just the coconut itself. So this one is stabilized and thickened with the guar gum. So you can see it's got like a nice, you can still get a pretty nice peak from it, but you're not going to get as high of a peak as you would from the ones that are made without the guar gum. So that was something that when I got the can, I didn't realize. I was like, oh no, this one's the guar gum one. I always get them confused. So you can make the little, do the best you can, or get the ones without the guar gums, and then you can go ahead and make little faces with little mini chocolate chips. That's really cute. A little ghost, right? Let's see my little ghost. All right, any questions or comments?
Yes, a lot of people are going to make stuff. So Anne says she's making muffins and the pie. John Fregala says he's making the pumpkin pie.
Awesome.
Diane said that she made the muffins along with you. So she did
Diane,
a cook-along.
good for you.
Yeah. So Patricia says she definitely wants to try the chocolate pumpkin pie. Gwen says roast muffins and the pumpkin cheesecake.
Yay. Wonderful.
Naomi says the pumpkin pie. Oh, and then there's a question. Reduced coconut or full fat?
Full fat. Oh, sorry to say. It says on the recipe, full fat, and that's important because it's a whipped cream. It's like heavy cream that gets whipped. You need the fat to give it the structure and the air.
And Patricia has a question. Besides being vegan, is there any advantage or disadvantage in using coconut cream as opposed to heavy cream?
No, not really. I mean, it's just an option I wanted to provide, but you can use, heavy whipped cream if that'll hold up nicely too. That would look really nice. Yeah, fun idea.
And then she says, Deborah says muffin and pies definitely. And Teresa wants to know how could she watch this on YouTube for her friends who missed this?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you, Terry. So all of our classes are posted on our website, usually like 3 to 4 weeks after. But I will be sending all of you a recording link to the class. So if you want to share it with people, please do. And please also encourage them to sign up for future programs through our website. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
And that's it. Everybody's cooking.
Yay. So I wanted to ask, I think you said Diane was cooking along with us?
Yes.
Okay. So Diane, if you ran into any issues or trouble with the muffins, feel free to troubleshoot with us and tell us a little bit about what's going on in your kitchen and if things are rolling smoothly or if you're running into any obstacles, because chances are other people might run into those same ones. So feel free to share those if anything comes up. And then finally, I like to do, I call it the spider patch. So you can have some fun with your little insect creatures. These are nasturtium leaves. So you can put those out. You can get your spider web. It's already starting to, because the oven is hot. The oven's hot. I have to put this back in the refrigerator. But you can get your little spider creatures. And these ones are still okay. The web is more delicate. Make yourself a little spider patch. And then, you can grab some flowers and kind of put them around. It's really fun to do this kind of stuff sometimes. You know, we take life so seriously, all of us, right? It's just have some fun with it. It's Halloween. Enjoy yourself. Make some healthy treats and nourish one another with chocolate and peanut butter. It's like, what could be better, right? So let me bring out that pie. And actually, I think we're pretty much done. I'll bring out the muffins too. We could try to frost them, but I think they're still going to be too hot. But there's our spider pie. You can, you could even take one of your own homemade spiders or do a few little spidery creatures. It's fun. All right. Any final questions or comments?
Yeah, there's a question from Corinne.
Yeah.
She says, since the pie is no bake, the alcohol from the vanilla extract, it remains or?
Yeah, I mean, the alcohol in vanilla extract is negligible. Yeah, but if you're worried about it, there are vanilla extracts that are alcohol free. You can find those. Kind of have to hunt around for them, but they do exist. Or you can leave it out. Chocolate and vanilla have a really nice synergy, though. So I do want to spend a moment just talking briefly about the ingredients that we're using and why I chose them. So we talked about the pumpkin. It's full of all of those nutrients we mentioned: A, C, E, iron, folate, low in calories, high in antioxidants. What else did I want to mention? Cinnamon. So crucial. The cinnamon that we most use is the cassia variety. If you can find, and they do sell it in most stores, the Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon is known as true cinnamon. So that's the one that's the most powerful in terms of antioxidants, in terms of anti-inflammatory properties, and as well as blood sugar regulation. There's also a very interesting connection between cinnamon potentially being shown to reduce insulin resistance. So powerful food, and it tastes so good. It's got that nice sweet flavor. So it's a great thing to include in your baked goods because it'll again help to kind of stabilize that blood sugar as you're enjoying something sweet and lovely. The hemp seed, I talked about the protein in that. What else? And then the choice of peanuts. So peanuts are in the legume family. They're really, really high in protein. 7 grams of protein in one portion. And then the fat in peanut butter is partially made of oleic acid, which is a monounsaturated fat. So it's not the best, it's a good nut to choose from, or legume, I should say, because technically it's a legume. You could certainly use almond butter or sunflower seed butter if you need to make a seed substitution, or the almond butter if you want to make it a little healthier. That's sort of the top nut. And then chocolate. Let's talk about how good chocolate is for you. Nice dark chocolate is rich in polyphenols. It's loaded with antioxidants. It's a good amount of iron and magnesium in dark chocolate. So feel good about enjoying all of those things. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's really been a lot of fun celebrating Halloween. As you can see, I dressed as a chef. That was my costume. I thought about before class. I thought about like, can I pin some spiders on but then I didn't think you would see them anyway. But final questions and comments. Good.
There is what it says, when I have cinnamon, this is from E, it makes my tongue feel the way it does when one eats spinach. What causes that? I
don't know how your tongue feels when you eat spinach. So I don't know. If anyone has ideas on that, I'm not too sure. I sometimes get if I eat spinach, that my teeth, if I like grit them together, there's like a little bit of almost like a sandpapery feel, but I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, she's saying it's kind of rough, like I guess when she eats.
Rough.
It's hard to describe.
Yeah. I mean, it could be that you're maybe having too much cinnamon. You shouldn't really have more than 2 teaspoons of cinnamon a day. There is something in Ceylon, in all cinnamon, less in the Ceylon cinnamon than the cassia variety. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but too much of it is not great for the liver potentially. So you don't want to overdo on cinnamon either. So find that right balance for you. Okay. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining. I'll send you some links for upcoming classes, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, Alita, for being our wonderful volunteer as always.
Anytime.
And it's always so much fun to do this with all of you. So thank you.